I will be teaching a class for Olli in the fall of 2024 called Nurturing the Soul Through Soul Collage. And it's a great class. I'm excited about it. I've been doing soul collage now for 20 years. I was first introduced to it in a workshop in Seattle. And in about 10 years ago, I got my certification to be a facilitator so I could share it with other people. And I've been doing a lot of soul collage workshops throughout. But what is soul collage? Soul collage was developed by a woman named Sina Frost, and you can see her picture here. She developed this as a psychiatrist and used it with her clients, and it was so successful and so lovely that she shared it with a greater number of people. I am one now of 4,000 soul collage facilitators in the world. It's worldwide. So this is Sina Frost who developed this. What is soul collage? And I'm sharing with you a couple of my cards. Soul collage is developed by Sina Frost 30 years ago. It's a process that involves creating a deck of collage cards by intuitively selecting images from magazines and arranging them on a 5x8 cards. Once a card is made, the fun begins. The creator consults the images for insights and guidance to inform a set of questions that promises deeper self-understanding and self-acceptance. Participants in soul collage have been thrilled by the process and remark that it has led them to greater self-expression, deeper trust in one's inner wisdom, a much-needed time for self-exploration and reflection, and most importantly, a meaningful connection to other collagers in the group. And these are some of my cards, as I said. And one of the things I love to do, because I'm a writer, is I love to take my cards and then write poetry to them. And that may be something you try doing in the class, because it's really fun to take the images and then see what words come forward for us. So what I'm hoping is that you will love this, share it with, come share it with us in the fall and make all sorts of discoveries about you, others, and share your journey with us. Thank you very much.
Hey everybody, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Ann Ellsworth, and I have the privilege, the opportunity to work with Olli again and offer a short course. What happened to Dick and Jane? Issues, trends, and best practices in teaching reading. So when is this fantastic class going to happen? Well, on Wednesdays, 5 of them, in 3 in October and 2 in November. So by Thanksgiving, we'll have wrapped up the class. Class will be conducted at Hope Lutheran from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. Loosely, I have some ideas of what I'd like to cover, but of course I want to answer your questions and make sure that that drives what we do. But I'd like to share the history of reading, approximately the last 100 years that's taken place in the United States, the pendulum shifts, the trends that have been informed on what we knew at the time of what is best practice, what research said. We'll talk about basal readers. Basal readers are simply programmed readers. Dick and Jane were an example of that. And then, of course, there were a lot of offshoots. For example, this was one I grew up with. And you can see the familiar sanitized illustrations that were kind of signature features of basal readers in the 50s and 60s and 70s. We'll also venture into talking about reading rates and comprehension, because learning to read involves all of that. There are many interfacing factors, and we want to make sure we address them all and your questions. So a signature feature of my class is that it's hands-on learning, active learning. We have fun, we laugh, and we talk a lot. It's discussion based. So bring your questions and answers, and I sure hope that I will see you when class commences, and we're going to learn about what happened to Dick and Jane. Thank you so much for viewing.
This is Walter Fleming, a department head and professor in the Department of Native American Studies at Montana State University. It's my honor to be doing a course called American Indians of Montana Yesterday and Today for the Olli program. And in this 6-week course, we're going to be dealing with tribes of Montana. There are going to be 3 major sections. The first section will be the cultures of the tribes of Montana, and we'll look at things like social structure, philosophy and beliefs, and I intend to share a couple of ceremonies. But we'll also be talking about creation stories and some of the belief systems that people in Montana, tribal people in Montana, recognize. The second section is going to be the history of Montana Indians, and we'll of course start at the very beginning with tribes moving into the state. But we'll also be looking at some important historic events such as the Lewis and Clark expedition and its impact upon the tribes of Montana, as well as we'll get a chance to kill Custer somewhere along the way. And the third major section will be contemporary issues. And that in part will be topics that the class will define, but will certainly include topics like what is a powwow and how to watch a powwow and things that participants may be curious about. So I look forward to joining you in this 6-week adventure, introducing you to the tribe of Montana.
Hello, I'm Eric Funk, Artistic Director and host of the Montana PBS series 11th and Grant with Eric Funk. I'm also a classical music composer and professional jazz pianist. I've created my autumn 2024 Olli course, And All That Jazz, as a means to demonstrate and explain how it is that jazz musicians improvise, how we use materials in a song as material for extemporaneous development. It's going to be a total joy, and you'll walk away with the ability to listen to any jazz musician and understand exactly what it is they're doing. More broadly, it will enhance the way you listen to all music and increase the enjoyment. Hope to see you there. I'm eager to share.
Hello, I'm Stephen Maley, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to lead another Olli course. Global Civics 2.0 is based on the same conceptual framework as the initial offering. The principles of sovereignty, legitimacy, and subsidiarity form a lens through which to analyze currents and trends in world events, with a view toward the progressive realization of human rights at home and abroad. What happens elsewhere in the world is often of vital importance to our national security and domestic well-being. We need to refresh our understanding of governance in the United States, but not stop there. We will approach problems, crises, and opportunities in a multidisciplinary way to include key aspects of history, geography, political economy, and international law. Participating in the first Global Civics offering is not required. Further, we will explore and discuss a fresh batch of geoeconomic and geopolitical focal points, including the Middle East, the South China Sea, and the Arctic, among others. In this second edition, we will focus special attention on the issues of global governance, including laws, norms, institutions, and structural innovations. We will explore what solutions are plausible as we face a seeming onslaught of existential challenges. I approach issues of conflict resolution and human survival not as an idealist or a realist, but as someone with a composite perspective. I like to think of myself as an imaginist. I believe that we can at least imagine a world order in which the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a widely respected guide to an improved quality of life everywhere in the world, including here at home. I look forward to sharing with you a journey across multiple horizons, considering together the rights and responsibilities of citizenship in the modern world, where risks and rewards extend well beyond national borders. Hope to see you this fall on the cusp of another national election with all sorts of implications and ramifications for the whole world.
I'd like to invite you to join me in a class this fall about how to be a birder. And the truth is, all you need to do to be a birder is to spend time appreciating birds. But if you'd like to take it a next step further, then I'm here to help you with that. I have over 25 years of experience doing research with birds and teaching people about birds, and I love connecting people with this part of wild nature. So you might wonder, do I need a field guide? What kind? Does it need to be specific? What kind of binoculars should I buy? Can they be small or big? Do they need more or less magnification? Does it matter? How do I even use binoculars in the first place? You might have also heard a lot about apps that help people identify bird songs. I can teach you how to use those and know when they're accurate, because they aren't always accurate. You'll also learn about some basic ways to identify birds to a family group, so that you can identify different kind of birds, like this woodpecker in this picture behind me, even if you travel to different places. We'll learn about the common bird families in the Gallatin Valley. We'll spend some time both inside the classroom and also outside in the field, outside of Hope Lutheran Church, practicing things like using apps and using binoculars. And then we'll conclude with an optional field trip to a birding hotspot, where we'll practice identifying birds by sight and sound as they travel through on their fall migration. So I really hope you join me in my passion of observing birds, and I will see you in the fall.
Hi, my name is Osher Lifelong, and I would like to invite you to my course on the Baltic countries. Have you ever been to Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia? There's so much to see here, from the white sand beaches of the Curonian Spit to the seaside resorts of Jūrmala and Pärnu, from the medieval castles of Trakai and Tallinn to the Art Nouveau architecture in Riga and the Art Deco quarter in Kaunas. But this course is much more than just eye candy travelogue. You'll also learn about these countries' tumultuous past, their significance in today's current affairs, and their hopeful future. For a sneak peek of the course, come with me to Riga, the capital of Latvia, located at the mouth of Daugava River. Right in the center of the city, you can't miss this iconic red building called the House of Blackheads. But did you know that in the Middle Ages, it was used by a guild for unmarried foreign merchants? Where did these foreign merchants come from? Most of them came through the Hanseatic League, a trade network with a center in present-day northern Germany, in the town of Lübeck, the birthplace of marzipan. In the 1500s, the German contingent in Riga was strengthened by Lutheran priests, who made Latvia one of the first countries to adopt the new faith. We can still discern German influence in the cityscape of Riga's old town, as well as in the Latvian language. As for the House of Blackheads, what we see today is not the medieval original, which was destroyed in the course of the Nazi and then Soviet occupation of Latvia. Now we see the House of Blackheads that was rebuilt in the 1990s, when Latvia regained its independence, as did Lithuania and Estonia. Since the end of the Soviet era, the three Baltic countries experienced an economic and cultural renaissance, and now attract more tourists than ever. But if you come to this course, you will be able to visit Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia and learn a great deal about this amazing region without leaving the comfort of your cozy armchair. So check your course catalog, and I'll see you in class.
Hi, I'm Dan Smith, a geologist and filmmaker from Bozeman, Montana. I recently finished a 5-part film series about a renowned Montana archaeologist named Les Davis. He was curator of Paleo-Indian archaeology at the Museum of the Rockies in the early 90s. He did more archaeology in Montana than any other individual in the last half of the 20th century. Davis traveled across the state like Indiana Jones, conducting many excavations and finding evidence of the very first people to live in Montana at the end of the Ice Age. I'll be teaching an Olli course this September about archaeology in Montana. Along the way, we'll explore the history of prehistoric archaeology in Europe, Asia, and the Americas, and how it was first determined that humans existed in antiquity and coexisted with Ice Age mammals. Davis was obsessed with obsidian, and indeed wrote his dissertation on the distribution of obsidian on the northern plains. Later, he led the survey of Obsidian Cliff in Yellowstone, and found that Yellowstone obsidian was a prized resource traded across the continent in prehistoric times, as far east as Ohio. We'll also look at some recent research that pushes human habitation of the Americas to 20 to 50,000 years ago, possibly more. Finally, we'll get into the details of how the first Montanans survived and prospered in the wild mountains and plains of Montana. I hope you'll join me in this epic adventure across time. I look forward to seeing you there and exploring the great human story in Montana.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. David Smith from Seattle, Washington. I teach philosophy and world religions for the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute here at the University of Washington in Seattle and run a seminar business in the humanities. This fall I have the opportunity and privilege to teach my Comparative Religion course for MSU. In this series, we look at 5 major world religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. We also reflect for a little bit at the end of the series on newer religions and cults. The idea behind this course is to understand the teachings of these major world religions and compare them, looking for both similarities and differences. When you do that, I think you understand the landscape of world religion pretty well. There are a lot of reasons to study religion academically. It can be personal if you're trying to figure out what to believe for yourself, but I am convinced we really can't understand the world in which we live if we don't know anything about religion. These world religions have made a major impact on the world, and they affect all of us, regardless of our personal beliefs. And the academic study of religion is actually really good for critical thinking, because religion makes incredible truth claims and raises questions of meaning and purpose that we can all think about for ourselves. And my job, as always, is not to tell you what to believe, but to empower you to think well for yourself about things that matter, including religion. So I hope you'll join us this fall for Comparative Religion.
Hi everybody, my name is Derek Strawn and I am here once again to plug a new class for Olli. This class is known as the Montana Medicine Show From Frontier to Modern Times. It's a Montana history class and one that I am very passionate about. Some of you may know I've been writing and researching and talking about Montana history for most of my adult life, and it's something that I'm really anxious to share with you. I'm hoping that you will find this class engaging and interesting and very much worthwhile. My hope is that I can not only touch upon some of the major events in Montana's past, but also really dive into some of those quirky episodes that you may not be familiar with. I want to share with you some of the colorful characters that have defined our state's history. I want to share with you some of the tragic events that you may not have heard about. I want to talk about groups of people that somehow often are unfortunately overlooked in Montana history books. I want to talk about Native people and women and people of color, as well as the mainstream stories of Montana that are perhaps better well known. All of this will be based on a radio show that I've been doing for about 15 years now called the Montana Medicine Show, which focuses every week on a 2-minute colorful vignette, some story or episode or biography or place in Montana's history. And using that and primary sources, I'm hoping to give you a very colorful, interesting, engaging look at the Treasure State and its past. I hope you'll join me for the Montana Medicine Show From Frontier to Modern Times, and I'll see you in the fall. Take care, everybody, and have a great summer.